One thing that's really interesting is the fact that as a woman,
Please go and watch the video in full, which also talks about how women are made to feel inside Jehovah's Witness organization. And it's a very important topic to discuss. As someone who used to be a Jehovah's Witness for 22 years, I saw it personally and experienced it personally that the idea that the man is the head of the house or the head of the woman is really perpetuating the misogyny that thrives in Jehovah's Witness organization, which unfortunately in many occasions also leads to things like domestic abuse, whether that's emotional, financial, and unfortunately some occasions physical as well as sexual. Now, something I do remember from my time as Jehovah's Witness was there were many individual men who were kind, polite, respectful, and this is not about bashing individuals. The general idea that Jehovah's Witness organization feeds is that a man is superior to a woman. And there have been even some mentions by a governing body themselves in past talks where they actually said that because allegedly woman's brain is smaller than man's, it shows that by design the man was actually made to rule the woman, which is incredibly archaic and very dangerous ideas to put out there. And I'm not saying that men who are Jehovah's Witnesses would deliberately mistreat their wives or any other woman. What I'm saying is it is feeding into the patriarchy and the misogyny that somehow men and women aren't equal, that somehow one gender is better than the other. And that is not the case. As a mother to a daughter and a son, I would definitely say that my children are equal to me, and there is no difference for me as to what gender they are, and I would definitely not want either of them to be mistreated or treated differently just because of their gender. I also noticed during my time as a Jehovah's Witness that there was a lot of condescension towards women, as if women were somehow, you know, had a bee in a bonnet and they didn't know what they're talking about, that they were somehow not capable of taking a lead. And that is complete and utter bullshit, because women are very capable of leading, because men and women have qualities that the other doesn't. So there is no comparison. They should be equal in their own way, because just because you're a man or a woman doesn't make you somehow superior to the other. And I find that kind of an ideology that Jehovah's Witnesses and unfortunately a lot of other religions spew is incredibly detrimental to young boys who are growing up learning that somehow their mother, their sister, and the future daughter is somehow less than. And it creates so much unequal treatment, as we know in society in general. For a long time, women have had to fight for their rights, just basic rights, that's something that men have been able to get automatically over the centuries. And of course, like I said, there are many men, religious men, who do treat women with respect. And unfortunately, I was aware and I saw things that happened in other relationships, Jehovah's Witness relationships, that I was, sort of friends with certain people, and then finding out that there was domestic abuse going on. And the most scariest part was that the elders would simply tell them to work on their marriage and would disapprove of any kind of involvement from outside authorities, let's say social services, police, or even doctors, because they just didn't want anyone to so-called bring reproach on Jehovah's name. So you can imagine how much unreported domestic abuse goes on in these organizations. And yes, I have seen it personally, where there was somebody I used to be friends with. He was suffering domestic abuse from her husband, who at the time was a Jehovah's Witness. And the elders simply told her that she needs to make it work. She needs to, they just need to read the Bible together. And that's literally the advice they were given. She was given. So it's incredibly dangerous, and there should be some safeguarding issues around these religious organizations that seem to be a law to themselves. And this is obviously quite a sensitive topic and not something that can be covered in one video, and maybe even controversial. But ultimately, this is not about gender. This is about women being mistreated and looked down upon in Jehovah's Witness organizations simply because of their gender, and because they obviously believe what the Bible says about men being the head of the house. And yeah, that is another reason why I could never believe and accept the Bible myself now, because it is incredibly misogynistic. It is rooted in patriarchy and in the belief that women are not equal to men. And as a mother to both son and daughter, I absolutely know that men and women are equal. So I hope the more people wake up to this organisation, and the more survivors speak about it, the more we can hopefully raise awareness and also get people to wake up, because that's ultimately what needs to happen for changes to take place. So that's my bit for today, and thank you for watching. Pop your comments in the comment section we can continue this discussion. Please keep it respectful, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye.